What's going on, family? Welcome to another episode of the Seez Monroe Show. I am your host, and today we're here to talk about Morbius and how it could have been great.
Michael Morbius, you've been missing for 2 months.
When you're a stranger,
Then you were found on a container ship that washed up off of Long Island.
faces look ugly. When you're alone,
Are you here to heal the world? Or to destroy it?
In the movie, Michael Morbius is a biochemist that tries to cure himself of a rare blood disease, but inadvertently infects himself with a form of vampirism instead. Now that's in the film. Now let me tell you about the Michael Morbius that I know. In the 1994 Spider-Man series, Dr. Crawford has developed a cure for Spider-Man's disease. For those of you who don't know, Spider-Man is a mutant. So what comes with mutants? Mutation. She is reluctant to give him an untested serum that may result in permanent loss of his powers, or worse. As Peter is running tests with the serum and a sample of his blood, he is secretly observed by Michael Morbius, who then swipes the infected blood sample after Peter leaves for the night. Long story short, Morbius believes that this is Peter's eugenics project. We'll get into eugenics at another time. While experimenting with the neogenic blood, now this is not the storyline of all storylines, but it is a lot better than what we got in the film. So I felt like we could have used this. A lot of great things could have came from Morbius, but the fact of the matter is, it's just too early. Peter Parker hasn't really met any of these characters yet. He hasn't met Michael. He hasn't met Felicia Hardy. And these are the people that are key components to this storyline. But with all that said, let's get down to what they could have did to better this film. While receiving this film as is in this time frame, why not introduce these key component characters, like Blade, for instance? We all know that the Daywalker is synonymous with vampires, so why not give him an introduction in this Marvel movie? 2 words: big business. Now, Marvel Entertainment, which is owned by Disney, owns the rights to Blade. Unfortunately, Sony still owns the rights to Spider-Man. And I say unfortunately because there is no Kevin Feige of Sony running the Spider-Verse. But why can't we put these things aside? We've put it aside to have Spider-Man in these MCU films. Why not try to diversify their portfolio just a bit to get these great stories out there? With Spider-Man stuck at Sony, we're going to receive a lot of the same stories that we've already received from them in the past. Spider-Man has top-tier stories and a lot of top-tier villains, but a lot of these villains do cross over with properties that's owned by Disney. So what am I saying? I'm saying that Sony and Disney are already in a relationship. They might as well get married, let these characters' stories build out a little bit more, and make it more enjoyable for the fans, because we're suffering because of it. Morbius is currently sitting at a 15 on Rotten Tomatoes. Although the movie was far from good, I didn't think it was that bad. This film made a mistake by focusing on Morbius and his powers and less on world building. Instead of trying to get us to understand what Morbius can do, let us find out over a series of films. Eternals benefited from the Easter eggs in the film, and I felt like Morbius could have did the same. Focus more on world building, introduce us to Felicia Hardy, Kirk Connors. You introduced Adrian Toomes in the movie. Well, not introduced, but you brought him back into the Spider-Verse, or whatever we're deciding to do with that. Introduce Deborah Whitman as well. Now, we had Martine in the film, and I felt like she could have been replaced with Mariah Crawford. I get it. Martine is more of the love interest, and she's a scientist as well. But if we would have introduced Crawford, we could have introduced so much more. And again, it would have kept us more entertained in what was actually going on. Again, we were more focused on Morbius and his powers versus focusing on the world around him. One last thing. If you guys don't know the names that I was talking about in this film, go ahead and do a little research. Some of the names that I said was Felicia Hardy, Kirk Connors, Adrian Toomes, you know him. You know Kirk Connors. Deborah Whitman, Mariah Crawford. I didn't mention Kraven the Hunter, but go ahead and give him a Google as well. Blade, of course, and how he ties in with Morbius. Yeah, go ahead and do your homework, people. I appreciate you. So what do you guys think? Would this have helped you enjoy Morbius a little bit more? Go ahead and leave it down in the comments. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Peace.